Hello and welcome to an all new episode of the Up the Coast podcast. As always, I am your host, Tyler, and here we are coming off of the ACC-SEC challenge. There is a ton that we need to talk about in this league as a whole, so who better to join me to go through the irrational and rational takes that we have than Sam Federman from the Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Steelers podcast, Mid Major Madness, plenty of other places. Sam, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just needed a college basketball expert to go through today because we got a lot of takes to kind of get off here. I will let you choose. So I said that we would go through in this each of our irrational takes and our rational takes coming out of the ACC SEC challenge. Where do you feel like's the good place to start?
I want to start with something that might be irrational.
All right, let's do those first then.
All right. Can I start?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Virginia might be closer to like the Louisville, North Carolina tier than we're giving them credit for. Um, if you consider Louisville, North Carolina a tier, Louisville's probably a little bit above Carolina, but Virginia might be better than Carolina. Like they might be. Um, and Virginia goes to Texas. Granted, a Texas team that I don't think is very good, but they did what good teams are supposed to do to not great teams and pummeled them. But they did this on the road, winning on the road 88-69. They were up 28 with 7 minutes left. And it was the freshmen that were the stars for them. Like you look at this team, and obviously Malik Thomas is going to have to give them a lot in certain games, but he didn't give them a huge game in this one. It was Chance Mallory coming off the bench, and what I've
Again in a
always said
big
about
game.
Mallory is like, do you know how talented you have to be 5'9", 5'10", and still have recruiting services rank you as like a top 70 recruit? Like that should be a sell in itself on Mallory, especially as a college player. Terrific shooter. He's getting to the line a ton. He lives there. He's been physical for his size. Mallory's been awesome. And then you look at DeRidder and Grunlow. Obviously, DeRidder's not necessarily a freshman. He's a little older, but DeRidder is kind of this all-around stud that can do everything. Grunlow is he only had one block in this game, but his rim protection's been awesome. The Butler loss, I think if they didn't have the loss to Butler, we would be talking about this team as that kind of potential contender for the second, third spot in the ACC. I think they're there regardless of the Butler loss. I think that was kind of a blip, and Butler might be good. Who knows? Like Finn Bizjack was awesome in that game. Michael Ajayi's really good. Um, I think Virginia is maybe closer to that higher end of the height of the ACC than maybe we're giving them credit for. The offense rocks. They hit shots and they're really pounding the glass. I think they've got some physicality to them in the front court with DeRidder and Grunlow. I think they've got plenty of scoring with White and Mallory and Thomas and DeRidder, obviously. And how many teams can say that they bring a guy like Ugana Onyenso off the bench in relief of Grunlow? This team blocks everything, and like Devin Tillis is a guy like when they haven't really fully gotten him going yet, but when he gets going, that's a guy who was a high end defender at for a really good UC Irvine team for a long time. They'll get guys going, and I think this Virginia team is. I don't think anyone's on a level with Duke, but Virginia might by the end of the year be on that level with Louisville for number two in this conference. It's entirely possible. That is irrational, but it's possible.
Well, so I'm going to jump in there. I sold you this segment as overreactions and reactions, and I think we need to correct that into the record because, well, this is certainly might be an overreaction to a spectacular victory. I find this to be flat out rational. I think Virginia is excellent. I gave them the absolute highest honor I could in this Texas game. I turned it off at halftime. There were too
And
many
I
other
will say,
good
like
ACC games going on.
I had Virginia as a top 25 team preseason. I'm not surprised by any of this. It's just that I feel like the buzz has died down, and I was noticing this the other day. Like I saw a tweet about DeRidder. from one of like the NBA draft guys, and I quote tweeted and said like big week coming up for Virginia. And I was thinking of like what I was gonna say to quote tweet that because I was like, I feel like Virginia is like better than people are giving them credit for because I haven't heard anyone talking about them. And if they didn't have the loss to Butler, people would really be talking about them. And now I think people are going to start talking about them. They killed Texas. They have another chance for a resume win against Dayton. It'll probably be quad two. Dayton, I don't know if Dayton's going to be net top 50. Um, but if Virginia can beat Dayton, they'll probably go into ACC play. Um, 10-1 if they don't stumble at home against Maryland.
I think Virginia almost kind of suffers from a lack of an easy narrative. Like DeRitter is awesome, but isn't putting up quite superstar numbers. Malik Thomas is just pretty good. They don't have like a huge hole other than the fact that Dallin Hall's not making shots yet this year. Mallory is one of the best six men in the country, but it happens to be during the year where there's like 15 awesome true freshmen in the ACC. And so he's getting buried under other guys. Like the most exciting thing this team does on the court from a wow factor is Jakari White twice a game just hitting a three that has to infuriate every fan of the opposing team when it goes in because he's like falling over, clapping his hands, just
He's
kind
been
of
doing it
tossing the ball at
forever.
the hoop. It's ridiculous. He makes two of those shots a game.
And like he's been doing this. He was like one of the best shooters in the sport at North Dakota State for 3 years. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, like it's not fluky at all. I fully assume it's going to continue, but if you're just watching him from a film perspective, you're like, oh, this guy must suck at shooting. And meanwhile, he's going 3 for 3 against Texas.
Yeah. I love this. I loved Ryan Odom when he was at Utah State. I loved Ryan Odom at VCU. Um, I mean, he was a great coach at UMBC as well. And this Virginia team is exciting. It does not feel like the Virginia team that I think one of the reasons why there was so little buzz over the last month versus where I felt it would be was because they started so low in Ken Palm. The metrics just had them so low that they weren't really on the national radar in terms of like a big result. Like I had them as a top 25 around that preseason, so I had an eye on them. But like a lot of people, the difference between like if you think it like certain people saying like 25th versus like 29th is like a lot of that's a big difference in the national narrative because you're not showing up when you click the top 25 matchups, click top 25 for scores on the ESPN app. And Virginia, I never felt was not around a top 25 caliber team, but I honestly feel like they could be even better than that, given that they look this good right now with their freshmen kind of being like this, and they can keep growing throughout the course of the season. Um, and those freshmen will continue to get better.
Yeah, and one of my big concerns going into the year is that Ryan Odom's whole track record is that he doesn't win when his lead guard's in his first year with the program. And that's where he's at right now. And I think you kind of see it in this weird Dallin Hall, Chance Mallory kind of semi point guard combo that neither of them have fully adapted to the Ryan Odom system. And well, like, what does that look like for Chance Mallory in January when he's finally gotten comfortable with what he's doing? And at some point, he's going to start too.
I mean, I wouldn't be like surprised if he keeps coming off the bench as like this as like a scoring option off the bench because you have Thomas and DeRitter in the starting lineup as guys that you're going to give the ball to and get a bucket. Maybe you want Mallory for the 25% of the minutes that they're not on the floor. And Down Hall is kind of the good option to be like he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands type of point guard. He's a low usage point guard. Mallory's a little bit higher usage. So I don't mind Mallory coming off the bench as a spark plug. I honestly think that's a really good thing for them to have. But yeah, he's good enough to start, no doubt.
Okay, I'm going to switch up the order of my overreactions here because my first one, it might be a little too spicy to start. So I'm actually going to take it back to a game right before Thanksgiving. North Carolina facing St. Bonaventure. in a game where the Tar Heels really took a physical blow in the first half. They came out on a big run to start the second half, had chances to put the game away early and just couldn't do it. And in the midst of that, Kyan Evans takes a dumb fourth foul. Right at a
I know
point
exactly where this is
where
going.
St. Bonaventure could have climbed back into the game. And that play may have been the ultimate blessing in disguise for North Carolina. And that's my overreaction, is that them being forced to put Derek Dixon into that St. Bonaventure game may have changed their entire season for the better.
Hey,
He
Tyler, have
come,
you ever heard of Wally Pipp?
I mean, Kyan Evans isn't as good as Wally Pip.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Derek Dixon came in, he hit a couple of shots, he looked extremely polished and confident. Then they just didn't play him in the Michigan State game when Evans was bad again and their guards were awful. And then he plays crunch time in the Kentucky game and really gave them a spark that their backcourt could not provide all game. Like they're going out there every possession and it's just get the ball to Vasar or Wilson. Maybe Jaron Stevenson gets an offensive rebound. And if it's not one of those three things, they were not scoring. And Dixon actually seemed confident trying to break down and attack the Kentucky defense in a way that I never felt like Evans or Bogovac was trying to do in this game. And I mean, they're hanging by a thread without Seth Trimble right now in these big games. They got a few more coming up before he gets back. I think Dixon may end up being the solution to their problems.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this Carolina team, like Caleb Wilson's awesome, but like he plays in such like flow that if it's not going well for him in a certain stretch,
And it
like
was not in that Kentucky game.
you're not feeling him. Like he will have a lot of moments where like he's just halted, he's taking bad shots. But like when he can get to the rim, he's awesome. Couldn't get him to the rim. Vasar, like these aren't guys that like can get you anything on a dime. Like they're great players when they get the matchup. When they and I love Vasar. Vasar is amazing, but like he's not creating his own shot from the perimeter. You have to get him the matchup. You have to get him the post touch. You have to get him the pick and roll touch. Derek Dixon can do that. Big guard, physical, good ball handler, obviously. Um, gave them really tough buckets. That's what they need. They need tough buckets. And Trimble is a big piece of that equation. Trimble is kind of your tough bucket guy. Like he's not a superstar creator, but he you can give it to him when the shot clock's winding down and he'll figure something out. I don't know if that's like Caleb Wilson. Like he just kind of appears near the rim. Like that's what Caleb Wilson does. Like that it I can't describe Caleb Wilson as a basketball player without like either over exaggerating how good he is or like trying to or underselling him because like it just feels like he finds himself with the ball near the rim. Like I can't explain it. But then like Seth Trimble's your type of guy that can get you a shot clock winding down bucket. Derek Dixon looks like that to me as well, and I think they really need that right now because Kyan Evans has not been good.
Yeah, when Dixon came into that Kentucky game, it was 6 minutes left. They were coming off a 5.5 minute stretch where they'd scored 3 points. Two of them were on a nice Dixon assist to Henry Vasar. And they were in a run of possessions where they were literally not even getting the ball to Vasar or Wilson in places to attack. And it got so bleak that I found myself pondering, wait, would North Carolina have been better off keeping Elliot Cadeau because at least he could throw an entry pass to these guys? That's how bleak it was. And I guess we should note this was also during a stretch where North Carolina went 11 minutes without giving up a field goal from Kentucky. And that's why they were alive in this game.
Yeah, I like Caleb Wilson's awesome defensively. Like nobody's denying that. This defense is actually pretty solid when you look at the how physical they can be in the front court. And I think Dixon gives them maybe a little bit of size that they didn't have in the backcourt with Evans.
It it does. My last North
And
Carolina,
Bogovac is a nothing on defense. He's not good as a defender.
yeah. My whole feeling with the North Carolina team coming out of this game is if the ball is in the paint on either end, they're going to win that battle like 80% of the time. And if it just becomes a perimeter battle, I don't trust them against
It
basically
just
anyone
feels
right
like the
now.
exact opposite of last year.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
I like that. I like that thought.
All right, your other overreaction is,
Miami's a tournament team.
yeah, I slight overreaction at the in the
It's an
moment, but
overreaction.
yeah.
You told me to overreact,
Oh
so I
yeah.
overreacted.
No, I agree. But I also like I don't think this is outlandishly ridiculous or anything.
No, that was my thing. Like if I said Syracuse is a tournament team, that would be a little
We're gonna have
outlandish.
to talk about them. I have so
Yeah,
many thoughts on them
I
later.
have thoughts on Syracuse, which is obviously a bit on our pod. But look, Miami, 16th ranked defense in the country. You look at the bodies that they have on that court. Trey Donaldson, Shelton Henderson, True Washington, Ernest Uday. Not a surprise. This is a great defensive team coached by Jay Lucas. And the offense is coming along. Like they won, they scored 75 against this Mississippi team that, I mean, might be a disaster themselves. Um, but again, the fact that they're still right now, Miami's down bodies. They're down Marcus Allen, they're down Dante Allen. And I wasn't sure like if they would be able to survive kind of losing any of their rotation guys. But they've actually been fine depth-wise. Like Malavik has given them like minutes. He's not giving them a ton, but he's given them something. Um, they've gotten like something from Altuntes. Like they obviously are going to need Dante and Marcus Allen off the bench down the stretch of the season, like no doubt. But they've probably gotten like slightly more than what I expected from the other guys off of their bench so far. And I mean, Malik Renew has been so good. Exactly what you need as a throw the ball in type of guy. Because I was very curious about like, hey, how is this team going to score coming into the season? And it was very, very reliant on Renew, and he's lived up to that at all of this so far. And he's shooting it better. Like he's taken some threes.
So there was that stretch at the beginning of the second half. They took Renew out when they were up 19. And it did feel like without the shot making of the Allens, that the offense kind of died without him. And that's when Ole Miss made their big charge back. But on the flip side, of all the offenses that I don't fully trust in the league right now, Miami's the only one who has a guy that I feel like once every three possessions, they can just give him the ball and he will get them a bucket.
And it's going to be ugly. It's not going to look good. It's not going to look good, but he'll
Nothing
get you
Malik
buckets.
Renew does looks good, but he's clearly so much of a better player than last year at Indiana. And I had so many questions about the him and Uday fit. And maybe Chad Lucas is just better for that than Mike Woodson, but it works offensively so much better
This
than I
team
would have
doesn't shoot.
expected. Those two are just abusing people defensively.
Like this team doesn't shoot. They won't. Like True Washington is not a 44% three-point shooter. He definitely can shoot it, but like if that's your like Malavek is probably their best shooter. That's not really a great thing, like because who knows like how much you can play him with all the other stuff, and it doesn't really fit with your identity. You want the obviously Washington's awesome defensively, Henderson's awesome defensively, Donaldson's awesome defensively. Like oh, so again, like lean into your identity, be awesome on defense, don't force outside shots, and that's kind of what they've been doing so far. Pound it with Renew. That's what you're going to be best at.
Yeah, I'm still, it's still hanging in my mind how they physically hung with Florida.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's
This team can physically hang with anyone else, and I think that that's what Jay Lucas really wants. Because this was a guy who was remember the defensive coordinator for that Duke team, that Duke team that was just physically emasculating everyone last year. And I think that that's what Jay Lucas wants to be able to do. They want to be physical. They want to take the fight to you, and that's not what we're used to from the Miami Hurricanes.
all right. So I'm glad you mentioned Jay Lucas's time at Duke because that's where I go for my second overreaction.
Go.
This one's definitely hotter than both of yours so far.
Oh no.
You got to listen to the context here. I think Cameron Boozer on just a single game basis and then potentially into his NBA career has a higher ceiling than Cooper Flagg did. And
Interesting.
Cooper Flagg had the highest floor of any college basketball player since Anthony Davis. Like you just knew Cooper Flagg was literally never going to have a bad game. Like the first half Boozer had against Texas, Flagg never did that last year. But I just think Boozer gives them an extra element as a scorer that Flagg didn't have last year in those non-conference losses they suffered in that Houston game in the Final Four. And he is really just like the perfect built in a lab to just dominate a basketball game in every possible facet type of player that we've had in college basketball in a while. Like
That's
I am blown away by him the last couple of weeks. I
really
can't believe
interesting
how good he is already.
because I honestly had the opposite thought. Like I think Boozer's the higher floor. Like I think like
I mean, God, if like
Boozer can play bad and he'll give you 20 and 10. Cooper Flagg couldn't give you 20 and 10 on a bad night. Now, he would give you more like in terms of his versatility and defense, but like just statistically, Cameron Boozer is filling up the stat sheet. Like even like there are people out there like talking about like oh he's this, he's that. Like there's all the NBA draft like idiots out there saying, "Oh, he's this, he's that, he's not this, he's not that." And I'm just like the guy's putting up 24 and 10. Like what do you want? Like if he's playing not well and putting up 20 like according to these NBA draft nerds or whoever they are, and he's putting up 24 and 10, like then like what does it look like when he's playing well? Like this guy was the best. He made every single high school basketball player that he played against look like a middle schooler. And now he's making every single college basketball player that he plays against look like a high school player.
I mean, how many guys in the country would you rather have defending a post up than Ruben Chinyelu? It's not a long list.
Not many.
And Boozer is a true forward. Like this is not a center. This is he's not built like Patrick Gungba, who holy crap has also blown me away this year.
Awesome. Awesome player.
He's better than Malawach was last year. Like that was almost
I
my
think he gives you
overreaction.
more offensively.
Yeah. But
Not not
Boozer,
not not as versatile defensively.
yeah, I agree with that. Boozer's throwing his shoulder into Chinyelu possession after possession after possession. I didn't know that there was anyone built the way he is who is capable of doing that. And he's just throwing him into the hoop and making layups. I think he's still got ways to grow this season too, which is really blowing my mind. But like, you could tell me he drops 40 in a Sweet 16 game, I fully buy it now.
Yeah, I mean like I think like Cooper Flagg's 24 and 10 is louder than Cam Boozer's 24 and 10. But Cam Boozer's just gonna give you 24 and 10. Like that's kind of the thing.
Well, because Flag was also going to create 8 to 10 baskets off of assists or hockey assists and play elite defense every game too.
Yeah, and do you remember people talking about Cam Boozer at the rim and how it was all Cam Boozer's not scoring at the rim? Cam Boozer's 66% at the rim right
Yeah,
now. Like
that actually feels lower than what I'm watching.
he's 66% of the rim. He's 38% from three. He's getting to the line and he's 78% of the line. Assist turnover ratio is 25 to 8 in terms of assist rate to turnover rate. The rebound, like this guy has more red on his Ken Palm page than maybe any player I've ever seen. He's nationally ranked in like basically he's nationally ranked in every category except for free throw percentage and 3-point percentage. And it's not like he's doing poorly in those either.
It's insane. He's a 12.5% offensive rebounding rate. Like that's literally a tenth of a point below Gongba.
Yeah, like
That's
he's gonna have some of the
absurd.
most unethical Bart Torvik queries in the history of that website when it comes to draft season, and all the people that were talking crap about him realize that this guy is legit.
I can't wait till his
Has
Ken Palm comps come out.
has always been number one on my rankings for this draft class and for this recruiting class. Always been number one. Never considered putting someone else at number one.
Should we just note real quick that if any national outlet puts him at sixth in a mock draft, it's just clickbait and you shouldn't open it without me saying
Sixth?
who did that today? Oh yeah. There might have been a field of 68 mock
I
draft
haven't
that
seen
said that
anything
had
lower
him
than
six.
I've seen people say that they're moving him down. I've never seen anyone actually have him lower than fourth is the lowest I've ever seen, and that was more of a Caleb Wilson take than a Boozer take.
Yeah,
I disagree with it, but yeah, he's number one for me, and he will be number one.
he he has
I
become number
okay,
one for me
I
now
could see
too.
Darren Peterson being number one.
I feel this feels like Boncaro a few years ago to me. That when you just have a 6'9", 6'10"
I had
guy,
Chet number one.
I had Paolo one.
I loved Chet.
Yeah.
I thought, and like I think I think I'm proven right now. Like I know like it's different.
I think it's 50-50 right now.
I think Paulo like is putting up better numbers. Chet is contributing more to winning.
I think that one is years away from being decided, is what I'll say.
Okay, that's fair. I just know that like a lot of my NBA like people don't like my friends who watch the NBA closer than I do don't think Paulo is as good as most people think.
Yeah, there's some magic. There's some magic problems right now. We'll see in April.
Well,
All
I know
right.
Chet will be there in May, so
Well, Chet will be there in June on that
yeah.
team. All right. We'll simmer it down from our overreactions to just our reactions. So your first one here.
Syracuse is going to be really hard to play at the Dome this year. Like, I don't know how many road games this team's going to win because I don't think they're going to like walk into your place and beat you. But you're going to have a hard time coming to the Dome. That cold weather, obviously, like it's
Mhm.
indoors, but like that environment,
Not easy to get up there.
walking into it. Like I was telling you before the pod, like I wake up in the morning and I see the snow and I'm like, give me another hour. I wake up and snow, give me another. Like it's just that energy that like this team wakes up with and feeds off of, and they come out and they're awesome on defense. They are so good at defense compared to what I've seen from Syracuse the last couple of years. I don't know how many. Again, as I said, I don't know how many times they're going to go to your place and beat you because I don't know how. I don't. I don't think this team can score in the half court like at all. But you're not going to score in the half court against them. Like William Kyle's going to block everything. Like JJ Starling like is playing awesome defense. Like we'd never seen that. Nate George has been terrible offensively. Straight like basically playing at his floor offensively. But he's been solid defensively. Nate Kings was awesome yesterday, but he's also been awesome defensively. Tyler Betsy's been giving you something. Sadiq White is kind of just this athletic monster. This team is athletic. They're really raw. They're really raw. They missed a lot of free throws. But you're going to come to the Dome and have to face 40 minutes of pressure. And you're going to be funneled into William Kyle, and he's going to block your shot. I don't, again, I said, don't know how many road games this team's going to win. But this team is tailor made to maybe not go undefeated at home, but not lose very many.
So I am just blown away by the rule guys in the last four games. So the three in players era and then the Tennessee game. And William Kyle is just better than I thought he would be.
He's the best player on the team.
Yeah. Kings has finally found his shot. Well, I guess it was the Monmouth game right before, but he's hit a 3 and 5 straight after just being really bad to start the year. Tyler Betsy, like, might have been their best player in Vegas. He definitely was down the stretch in the Houston game. And I'm just watching this team just thinking, okay, what the hell is wrong with Starling and George offensively? Because that's what should be carrying them, and yet they're hanging in these games with tournament teams anyway. So you watch this team way more closely than I do. Is Starling still just hurt? Because it's the only thing that makes
Okay,
sense to me why he cannot score to save his life at this point.
so JJ was playing like this in the exhibitions too. So like it's not like it goes from before the injury. And there was like a preseason finger injury in the second exhibition. I asked him, "Hey, like is that still bothering you at all?" Cuz like he wasn't shooting and he's like, "No, not at all." Um comes out gets hurt. Probably could have played in the probably could have played in the Drexel game, but they wanted to wait it out, get him back from Monmouth and not really risk anything. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. And then he comes back, takes six. He he's not giving them anything offensively. And I think he's scared right now of going to the line because, okay, his free throw rate's actually higher than it was last year, but it's because he's not driving at all. And like when he is driving, yeah, he's gonna get fouled. Like he's just not doing anything offensively. Um, Nate George, on the other hand,
Nate George
every
just kind of
single
did this sometimes last year.
what do you say?
Nate George just kind of did this sometimes last year, where for like
Sometimes
3 games he'd just be awful.
every single concern that I had about Nate George coming in, everything that I wrote about in my scouting report of Nate George back in May or whenever it was when I did that. Every single thing I was a little concerned about, aside from the like, hey, maybe like it'll be too high usage guys between him and Starling, and like I don't know how that's gonna work together. Every like concern that I had with his game, like his light's too green from three, he's not a great finisher, like all that stuff. It's all come exactly the way I saw it. When he gets in the paint, he is looking to pass. That's a problem. That is a problem.
But meanwhile, he's
And
not racking up assists anyway.
I mean, the
A
assist
little,
numbers aren't bad.
yeah.
It's just that he's turning it over.
So the Starling thing, I wonder because he's literally at half his field goal attempts. He's taken 16 a game last year. He's at 8 a game now. And you see this very rarely, but sometimes with guys who are like good stats, bad team guys that all of a sudden are playing with a good team around them. And I assume Autry was in his ear all summer, like, hey, you can't be taking 16 bad shots a game. You got to be taking 12 and you got to be smarter about it. And I almost wonder if his brain just kind of collected that as just shoot less rather than risk taking a bad shot.
Okay, that's fair. And I also think that hey, this probably looked a lot different with Donnie Freeman.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the biggest part. Is can Freeman just come back in seamlessly
Also,
and the
like when is
Kyles
he
and the
coming back? Like
yeah.
nobody knows when he's coming back around here. Like we have like Autry said like oh he's expecting it to be quick. I don't know. Like I've seen Autry expect things to be quick before.
At one point, weren't they hinting like he potentially could have played the last Vegas game?
No, he was out for the
Oh,
entirety of that.
okay.
They announced before Vegas that he was not playing in Vegas.
Yeah, this team's like the ultimate mystery to me now because I like their role guys so much better than I thought I would. And I can't help but feel like they basically lost the Kansas and Houston games because they needed 3 more buckets from Starling and George that they just never got.
Here's where I am with this. Like, if this is what Starling and George are right now, like, it's disappointing. But I still think I still think you can win home games with this defense like that. And honestly, like, that's fine. Like, I'd rather them not force it and lose games and like lose games by just not being good enough than like okay, your most dynamic players like Donnie Freeman, William Kyle, obviously Sadiq White, like those are the ceiling guys. Those are the guys that I want to see like win this team games. If this team is at some point in January relying on George and Starling to win them games, that's probably not the best for them.
By the way, Duke, Louisville, Virginia, and NC State don't come up there this year.
Yeah, like they
So,
legitimately could. I don't think they will. They could go undefeated at home.
and their toughest home game is probably Clemson.
Their toughest home game was Tennessee.
Well, yeah, I was talking the rest of the way.
Carolina, which is going to be, by the way, on big ABC.
Oh, I missed that one. They're playing them twice. Okay. I just saw that they were down in Chapel Hill.
Big ABC for North Carolina. So it's Carolina. The home schedule is Clemson, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Miami. That Miami game could be like 53-37, 53-47.
So end of January. God, that's going to be an unpleasant walk off the plane for those guys.
I mean, yeah. Do you remember what happened two Januaries ago when Miami came up there at the end of January?
I
They
actually
lost on
don't.
a 3-point buzzer beater by Quadir Copeland. That was a bad Miami team. Um, Notre Dame, Cal, SMU, North Carolina, Pitt. I think they lose no more than two of those.
I think that's pretty rational looking at the strength of schedule at
Now,
this point.
now they might go 2-7 on the road because they can't score. And to win on the road, you usually need to kind of take it to the other team and score. Um, but like they could also win their first two road games against Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh.
Three.
Three,
They
BC,
play
yeah.
Boston College after that.
Like the schedule is favorable for
God.
Syracuse to build up a good ACC record.
Well, and
But
I'm looking at
but
this too. They
but
might they
but
might start like
but
5-1.
if they can't play, but if they can't win a Carolina game or a Duke game or a Louisville game, they're not going to make the tournament because right now they have one big win. Clemson at the end of the day at home, is that going to be quad one?
I doubt it.
This team needs to pick up some road wins and needs to protect its home floor to make the tournament. But I'm excited about this team's ability to win at home. They could go 7-2. They could go 7-2 at home, no doubt. They could go 8-1 at home.
All right, my first rational take here. Another team in the middle of the pack kind of group here. One that is flying under the radar because they didn't participate in the ACC-SEC challenge. Cal is just really solid. And I did not think they would be. I
I understand
hated
that.
this roster coming into the year, but Day Ames has basically doubled every statistical category, scoring 19 points a game. A book should be written about the incompetency of the 2024-2025 Virginia offense. Like Ames is way better. McNeely's doing exactly what he did at Virginia. Rhodey's fine. Jacob Kofi and Ishan Sharma, turns out they're actually competent players. They looked completely useless last season. But yeah, Ames,
Jacob Kofi was like my preseason Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, and also, have you seen what TJ Power is doing at Penn?
I completely forgot TJ Powers on that team. That's what, and I've watched Penn play 3 different times this year,
And
and
Blake
I forgot he
Buchanan's
was on
been
that team.
incredible for Iowa State.
I actually thought he was out of eligibility.
Who, Buchanan?
Yeah.
He was a sophomore last year.
Oh my God. I thought he was like a fifth year senior. Yeah. Virginia, everyone is better off for having left that situation, the team included. Ames is incredible. Justin Pippen literally moves around like his dad. It's insane. I can't believe how good of a playmaker he is. He has this little thing where he just dribbles to the foul line and he's either going to toss in a floater or somehow find an open shooter, and it seems to work every single time. Um, I would like to see Lee Dort not be in foul trouble in the second half of an important game at some point, but whatever on that. It seems like Chris Bell and John Camden just trade off being good scorers every other night. And it's really amazing when you're only relying on Chris Bell to be able to come through for you 50% of the time, how good you feel about him. But the UCLA win was insanely impressive. Utah at home, not quite as much. I'm not ready to buy them as a tournament team yet, but Cal going 9-9 in conference and maybe knocking off one of the top teams is fully in play for me now.
My Chris Bell experiences drastic mood swings based on his 3-point shooting percentage take will continue to age extremely well. Um,
0 for 3 in the Utah game, and it was completely irrelevant to their ability to win that game.
yeah, no, I'm really happy for Chris that he's been doing well. Like going home. He needed that. He definitely he definitely felt like far away from his support system last year. Was always like he was the most introspective, like in post game locker room availability. So like you kind of got some insight into his stuff. Like you could tell that like he was not he didn't have the support system that he maybe needed. Compare because he was 3,000 miles away from home, and when he was struggling, it made him kind of feel it was tough. And he granted he figured it out at the end of the season, obviously. Um, but it was too late. Let's be completely honest here. It's really good for him to be back home in California making shots because that's what he was born to do. Can I also say that like for Cal right now to be in this position with Nolan Dorsey really not being a player for them.
He's not honestly, he's not relevant. He didn't even come up in my head as someone to talk about.
Like I thought Nolan Dorsey was incredible at Campbell last year. Like if they can figure him out by the time January comes around and like Petraitis is hurt and Illich is
Which is a problem, but
and like I still I feel like there are guys like their first five like Pippen, Ames, Bell, Camden, Dort, good group, good group right now. But like by the time if they can get Petritis, Illich, and Dorsey working by January, this could be interesting. This could be interesting. Very fascinated by their matchup with Pacific on Saturday and then their matchup with Columbia on December 21st. Two interesting non-con games.
yeah, because they're looking at just a bunch of bye games the rest of the way. They could walk in 12-1 into ACC play. So if they don't get tripped up there, I will say they missed Petritis at the end of that Utah game because it felt like they were one defender short without him on the court. And get well soon, Ritas Petritis, because I genuinely just get joy watching this guy play.
Yeah, absolutely. What was my last take?
I can dip into so
Hold on.
I had one in a backup because I thought this was going to be one
Oh
of
yeah, no,
yours.
we've got to we like NC State
Yeah, so
is
that's my other one.
like it's like this is not good. Like this is real bad.
Second,
I don't know if I'm ready to say like they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. But like this is not an ACC like top two tier team. They are not on the level that we thought they were preseason because this defense is bad. They are like they give up so many open threes every time. Every and like part of this is like Auburn does this at Neville Arena, where every time I look up there, Auburn just had an open three. Auburn just had an open three. But like it was the same thing against Texas. It was the same. Like Seton Hall wasn't the threes, but they couldn't defend the rim. Um, it's bad. Like VCU hit 13 threes, they took 42. Like VCU was able to get a lot of good looks in that game. Um, I think this is a problem. Like this is a legit problem. This offense rocks. Matt Abel can shoot the crap out of it. Paul McNeil has been shooting the crap out of it. Darion Williams has made 50% of his threes, but this team cannot guard anything. It's also a little weird to me that Quadir Copeland is their highest usage player. Like, but like whatever. I'm not worried about this team's offense.
if you had
Wait,
told
for me,
me,
my question is like, where's Terrence Arsenault in all of this? Where is he in all of this? I also feel like Copeland just hasn't been as good defensively this year, as I'm used to. McNeil and Abel. I mean, Abel's fine. McNeil. I don't know how much you can play them together though with how bad this team looks defensively. And Abel's fine defensively. It's just like the archetypes. And the big issue is also Van Allen Lubin has never been and never will be a defensive caliber, a good defensive caliber starting five man in the ACC.
That's the biggest problem. If you had told me going into this year that they're the 17th best offense in Ken Palm, my reaction would have been, whoa, can they compete with Duke and Louisville?
Yes.
Because the defense should have been the strength. They're dead last in the ACC. They have a worse defense than such illustrious teams as Boston College, Georgia
No
Tech, and
way.
Florida State right now. Go on Ken Palm.
Oh my God.
They're dead last in the
No,
ACC in defense.
no, Pitt's 94.
Oh God, that A&M game knocked them down then.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah, Jesus. Well,
like
they deserve it. That was
Pitt's
horrible.
bad.
Yeah. The Ohio State game gave us like it gave us a reason to believe for
I didn't
24
realize
hours,
VC's
but
44th in defense. Shout
yeah.
out to them.
Yeah, their offense is so pitiful that it just
Oh no,
doesn't
they can't
matter.
score.
But
I can't believe Donald Hand got the preseason ACC Player of the Year vote.
Luca Tays was running their offense in overtime last night, but sure, this is an ACC team.
Luca Tays would come off the bench at like half of the MAC.
I believe it. I flicked the game on at the end. At one point, I had to go look up the jersey number to make sure that was Luca Tays and that they didn't get some guy back from injury that I didn't realize was on their roster because it was so outlandishly absurd to me that that was happening.
Yeah. Go on.
But NC State, I lost the plot there for a second. It became pretty clear that VCU Seton Hall back-to-back stretch with what Lazar Djokovic did to them in the first half of the VCU game that forced them to have to play double center, and then Elijah Fisher in the Seton Hall game. Like they're just not going to win a toughness battle on the interior against anyone. And I look at these ACC front lines like, God, I can't even begin to imagine what Vasar and Caleb Wilson are going to do to these guys.
Yeah, and
It's
like
going to
the
be
thing, but the thing is
brutal.
like that made sense coming in with what we knew
Yeah.
about Van Allen Lubin.
Except it might be even worse than
It's
we were
okay.
expecting.
It is. It is. It is. But like for me, it's the perimeter that's been like alarming because I thought, and Will Wade's identity has been get after you perimeter defense. They look awful guarding the perimeter. And maybe it's because they have to send, and I haven't done like a full deep dive, but maybe it's because they have to send so much help to the post that it keeps getting these open threes.
That whole Auburn game, the second half, when they were hanging around down 6, down 8, every single possession, Auburn just figured out if they got to the third action, there was literally no way NC State could still cover
Was
them.
there any moment that you thought NC State was going to win that game?
No. There were moments where I thought they could keep it close, and maybe if like Darion Williams created some magic in the last 3 minutes, but there was never a moment where I thought, wow, NC State has been the better team in this game.
We'll also say Auburn a little bit ahead of schedule right now in terms of obviously not with the Michigan result, but all of the other results have been good. Um, Looking forward to their game against Arizona on Saturday night. But NC State has to go to has Kansas at home coming up. They have Mississippi. They're like Liberty's like no push like Liberty's not a physical team either, but Liberty can shoot. I'm fast like they'll beat Liberty. They will. Can Liberty keep it close? They might.
I
Kansas
think they
though?
can.
Kansas though?
How many points can Flory? Well, actually, no, this is a better one. How many rebounds can Flory Badunga get to in that game?
Oh,
I
15.
think he can challenge 20.
Yeah, no
All
doubt.
right, that was my other one. Was NC State's defense just being a disaster? And Arsenault, who I certainly expected to be the leader on that side, he can't even get on the court. Like maybe it wasn't the injury holding him back last year. Maybe he's just not that good. But we are getting long in time, so I'll just take that as mine. I had a backup ready in case, but
You want to go like rapid fire through the rest of the games?
yeah. So I'll hit real quick. The one that I was going to bring up is Notre Dame, who I think losing Jalen Harrelson to fouling out actually might have won them the Missouri game. because it just took away an option for them to get the ball 6 feet away from the hoop, which they basically refuse to run their offense if they can't do that. And at some point, they finally realized, like, oh, if we're going to run Cole Serta out on the court, maybe we should give him shots. And Serta was the hero in that one, hit those three big threes late. I just feel like Notre Dame needs to find ways to get Serta and Imes the ball a little bit more if they're going to be out there. And if they start to do that, I
And
feel
I feel the
better
same
about
way
their
about
offense.
Frost if he's going to play.
Yeah. Well, Frost can't even get on the court right
And
now.
I think Frost is like a sick shooter.
Any other big games for you? I mean, Pitt just got overwhelmed by the A&M press, and you could see them tiring out as the game went on, and then they died the last 5 minutes.
Impressed with Clemson's compete.
Yes.
They were getting mauled. They were getting blown out. They fought back, even took the lead on the road in a night where they weren't hitting their shots. Good on them. 18 offensive rebounds. That's kind of what you want, what you expect out of them. Love that front court. Godfrey's been really good.
Nick
Uh,
Davidson finally showed signs of life offensively.
yeah. Um, Again, they didn't play in the ACC SEC challenge, but Stanford. I know they have to loss to Seattle. I know, and I know they should have lost to St. Louis. But this is a fun team to watch.
Yes. 1,000
Really
percent.
fun. Ibuka Okori, I will find any excuse to talk about him. Benny Keeler is a sick shooter. Dent Smith has his moments. Chisholm's been good. Rahosi's been good. Um, um, little bit like not sure on Virginia Tech right now.
Oh, I'm very not sure.
Like they need Toby back. I think if Neoclis of Dallas becomes their best player, they'll be good. But right now, he's not their best player.
So I thought about them long and hard for one of my overreactions, and I couldn't figure out if the answer was that we've now learned that Providence and St. Joseph's defense just suck and they can't guard middle school teams. And so getting to play both of them back to back the first 2 weeks of the year made Virginia Tech look so much better than they are. But at the same time, it might just be that they don't have Lowell, and it's pretty clear if they go a single game without him or Hansberry, they're just significantly worse. Like those two
Yeah.
guys are completely indispensable.
hmm
Was it was it you or Jonathan who was trying to hype up Christian Gerdak in your preseason preview?
Oh, that was Christian.
Oh, okay. Because Gerdak can't move.
No, I thought, and Christian came on, and we love Christian, by the way. He came on, Christian Ojackson from
Yeah.
Enjoy
I
Basketball.
just don't know how to say his last name, so I was gonna let you do it.
So he came on and he was like, "What? Look out for Christian Gerdak," and I literally laughed in his face.
He can't move his feet at all. Like I'm more mobile than him.
I hated Gerdak at Gonzaga.
Um, the only other ones like Georgia Tech really let it sink
Oh, they're
in that they
bad.
stink.
They're just bad.
Uh,
Georgia Tech and BC are like pretty clearly the worst teams in this
oh
league.
yeah.
Oh, and
Uh,
oh God, like I don't know if there's a single team in the entire sport that has had a worse week than Florida State.
yeah, I'm starting to worry about them now. The
They
Tennessee
lost by
Martin game tried to tell us
by
something.
34 at home to Georgia. I don't even think Georgia's that good.
Well, that's actually why the ACC lost the challenge, is because the SEC's bad teams are way better than the ACC's bad teams.
Yeah.
The only other one, and like people were trying to hot take this as an overreaction in the moment. We've gone almost an hour. We haven't talked about Louisville at all, losing to Arkansas. To me, that was the 1 out of 5 games every year with a Calipari team where things just were awesome for them.
And
And
like
Brazil's on fire off the
have
jump.
and
Like,
Louisville's going to have those games where they are not making shots.
we could easily look back in March and be like, wow, that was the best game Arkansas played the entire year.
Good
They
and look, they needed it.
yeah, that was they played like a top 5 team in the country in that game.
They needed that win more than Louisville did. Excited for Louisville, Indiana. That's going to be a lot of points.
Yes. Um, SMU, my takeaway out of that one after watching Vanderbilt all week at Atlantis is that Vanderbilt might just be a top 10 team, and SMU still just feels like they're going to be right along the bubble all year to me.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's basically it. So I'll close things out here. I did want to do a very quick conspiracy corner here. I'm interested to hear
Okay.
your thoughts on
I'm
this.
here for it.
So Kevin Keats, ESPN broadcaster, former Final Four head coach of the NC State Wolfpack. Let's go back in time. It's February of 2024. And if you're Keats and his family or his friends or his agent, I think you can pretty clearly look in the mirror and say, yeah, he's probably going to get fired at the end of the year. And you know what starts to happen when you know you're going to go through that life change? You
Yeah.
start thinking about where things are going. And he did that episode of that show that's always on after games on CBSSN of him taking the reporter around on his boat and he's got his lake house. And you know what? It seems like he has a great time there. And I think Kevin Keats started to think about how wonderful it would be to spend a year just hanging out at his lake house, making some TV appearances, and just getting to relax. And I think he probably came to grips with that being a good way to spend his 2025. And then they make the Final Four, and there's no way in hell you're turning down that extension. And he comes back,
I
and
think
the
it was an
roster.
automatic extension.
Oh well, yeah, but it's not like he was going to retire or anything. Like you definitely take that. And then their team just stinks last year. And I think a coach trying to save his job in January just looks at Bryce Hurd and Paul McNeil on the bench and says, "All right, you guys are both playing 30 minutes tonight. Let's see if you can rescue our season." And he just never did that. And it's really weird to me because now I'm watching both of them who are clearly just better than some of the crap guards that NC State was putting out last year. And I think Kevin Keats might have just been resigned to the fact that he was good with going to the lake house and taking his buyout money. And that's my conspiracy corner for today. Because Hurd and McNeil are just too good to have not played last season.
Yeah.
But all
All
right.
right.
Virginia fans will get to see Bryce Hurd on Saturday. So we'll see what he does in that
Just
game.
want to see if there's anything more to say.
What?
Can I get another BC stray in?
Of course.
BC sucks. They're just so bad.
Like I still can't get over how much they were relying
Bowden
on Tays
Capke
in
was
overtime.
awful for an awful Butler team, and he's playing 57% of the minutes.
You know what? You can slander everything about Boston College except Bowden Capke. Like he's actually kind of good.
That's the thing, like the fact that Bowden Capke's been their best player.
So here
Like
was
their best players are like guys that were bad, like really bad at other high majors.
I posited this on Twitter earlier today. We're recording on Thursday. Should Boston College go to that MTE in Dubai next year? Because they feel like a perfect fit. I want to see them play DePaul.
Bo- Boston College, if Boston College tries to do the whole self-righteous thing, like as a
Yeah.
university, so like I don't think they'll do it. But at some point, they have to realize, hey, we are not Notre Dame. Boston College has been trying to be Notre Dame in everything for the last so many years, and they suck at everything except like men's hockey and women's lacrosse.
Being Notre
I
Dame's
saw a
not
tweet
even that
today. I
great
saw a
right
tweet
now.
today. Boston College sponsors 31 varsity sports, the second most in the ACC. Their men's tennis team has not won an ACC match since 2018. Oh, and 81. And like I joke here like about how like Syracuse women's soccer is like really bad, and they are. And like Syracuse women's volleyball has actually been getting better. But when I covered them 2 years ago, they were 2-26 and 0-18 in the ACC. Like, I've joked about how bad some of the non-revenue sports here are at Syracuse. Softball like is not good. They're not awful. They're not. I mean they were decent in the non-con last year, but they're not good. Um, BC I don't think I've ever seen a program not win a conference game in 8 years. That's what BC men's tennis apparently has done, according to that one tweet that I saw. I did not fact check it, by the way. I'm
So
not going on the BC website and looking up men's tennis.
I went to go look because I'm thinking, wow, if either of them have a program, there's no way Pitt or Syracuse is good at men's tennis.
We don't have men's tennis.
They're the
We
only
have
two
women's
ACC
tennis.
schools who don't. It's a 16 team league. No Pitt, no Syracuse.
Okay. And Syracuse doesn't have baseball either. Syracuse does not have baseball. Syracuse does not have men's tennis. Syracuse does not have men's ice hockey.
That's
Um,
insane. That
well,
they definitely should.
Syracuse is women's ice hockey, and I think the reason why they don't have men's ice hockey is because they have men's lacrosse, and men's lacrosse in this region of New York is more important than
Yeah.
men's hockey. Like this is the home of lacrosse.
Also, shout out to Wake Forest, who went 40-1 overall in men's tennis last year.
Isn't Virginia like a really, really good tennis program? I
I
think they
think,
won a national championship a couple times.
yeah. Well, they had, I know Brandon Nakashima won an individual NCAA title there like 5 years ago.
This is tennis corner now.
I mean, Wake Forest's tennis grounds literally used for a professional men's tournament the week before the U.S. Open.
Yeah, good for them.
So that's the kind of facilities they're working with down there.
All right, let's end this.
Yeah, we probably should have a while ago. Uh, Sam, what do you got to plug? That's how we're gonna end it.
Brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers at BBB podcast. If you've somehow made it all the way through this, you will love brackets, bubbles, and bid
Yes, you will.
stealers. I know Tyler can attest. Tyler, where were we on your Spotify podcasts wrapped?
Not because I don't use Spotify. So
Okay, yeah, neither do I. I use Apple, but I was told that we have a certain number of fans that have us as the number one podcast. I'm not gonna say the number, but it's more than I would have expected. Um,
I've
I
been
don't know
there.
who those sickos are. I have a guess on like 3 or 4 of them, but the rest, no idea.
There's certain people you meet online that I would fully believe have that at number one. Hopefully, someone has the
Who?
Up the Coast show at number one, but
Who do you think has bracket 12s and pit stealers as number one?
we can talk about it off the
Okay,
recording.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call it here. Go follow Sam on that show. Go read his work at Mid Major Madness. It's not all that relevant to this show, but it's still good work
I cover
nonetheless, and you should
Syracuse for
give it a
Mid
read.
as
Yeah,
well.
go follow him on Nunez Magician for Syracuse. Be sure to come back probably 2 weeks. I think next week will be an off week for the Up the Coast pod, but gonna come back, gonna deep dive on whatever team is the best to talk about at that time. So we'll see what happens. Be sure to come back to the show. Thank you for listening in.